Gauteng Province is the heart of South Africa's economic hub, playing a central and crucial role in the country's financial operations and economic activities. Home to major cities like Johannesburg and Pretoria, Gauteng is the most economically significant province, driving South Africa's economy through its key centers of finance, industry, trade, and commerce. Today we are diving into the recent political shakeup in Gauteng and exploring who could be the best candidate to lead it into the future. Stay tuned. Greetings, my fellow African brothers and sisters. I'm Kondos, your host, and welcome to Inkarhi Its Time. In this video, we'll dive into the recent dramatic shift in Gauteng's political landscape after the ANC lost its majority. We'll examine the potential candidates for premiership from the top three political parties and discuss who might be the best leader for Gauteng. First, let's look at Gauteng's economic contribution to South Africa's GDP, as it is considered an economic powerhouse. Despite being the smallest province in terms of land area, Gauteng plays a significant role in South Africa's economy. Here are some key facts about Gauteng's contribution to the country's GDP. 1. Gauteng boasts the largest economy in South Africa despite its small size. 2. In 2022, Gauteng was responsible for 33 rand out of every 100 rand produced by the national economy. 3. Its economy is larger than the combined economies of KwaZulu-Natal and the Western Cape. Gauteng's economic significance, diverse industries, and the growth trajectory make it a vital player in South Africa's overall prosperity. In light of all the mentioned factors, such as Gauteng's significant economic contribution and its diverse industries, it becomes clear that the province requires a leader who is both capable and decisive. This leader should have a deep understanding and expertise in managing the province's unique challenges and opportunities. Now, here's the thing. The political dynamics in Gauteng have changed significantly. The ANC received only 34.8% of the votes. The DA secured 27.4% and the EFF garnered 13%. This shift means Gauteng will now be governed by a coalition. With the ANC losing its majority, the coalition government will need to navigate diverse perspectives and work collaboratively to drive the province forward. Now, let's take a closer look at the key candidates from each party who could potentially lead Gauteng. We have Panyaza Lesufi from the ANC, who has a strong background in education reforms and has been a prominent figure in Gauteng politics. Lesufi's experience in governance and education is notable, but he also faces controversies that may impact his public perception. Lesufi has been accused of favoring political allies and associates in certain appointments and tenders. Allegations of nepotism and preferential treatment have surfaced, although specific cases and details vary.
Well, because we're quite aware that we're going to go through bumpy rides. So we strengthen our revenue connection to ensure that our revenue base is broadened. In the last just financial year, we collected almost 32 billion. During the budget speech, the MEC responsible for finance indicated that we'll increase that to almost 90 billion rands. So it's an indication that we've strengthened the revenue. We're not just spending, but there is a need for us to ensure that our revenue businesses enhanced, especially casinos. We've got so many online casinos, so we're taking advantage of that boom so that we can get whatever that is due. We are also taking advantage of our licensing and the new vehicles that are registered in our province, so we are taking advantage of that, as well as the services that are paid at our hospitals and the fines and other interest that we pay normally when we bank our money. So It's not that I'm an uncle, but we are trying to manage our resources well, and the Auditor General have just confirmed that in terms of the clean audits that we've received as Gauteng. So I'm reluctant to call those people police.
But they wearing SAPS uniforms, so who are they?
I'm very reluctant to call them the police. You know, they're not doing the policing work. So that is why we have been part of the process to select the new Provincial Commission of Police as the police. Somebody must share our vision, and that we are bringing various law enforcement agencies under one roof. We are bringing the traffic cops from all municipalities, we are bringing the private security companies, we are bringing the police, we are bringing all our wardens, we are also bringing specialized units, including the armies now in our province and other things, so that all these challenges can be tackled, so that they don't rely on one component of the law enforcement agency. So that if you are failed by police, it means everything has failed. Yes, the police are the primary institution that must deal with this thing. It hurts me when you are putting this kind of resources and you say, but the police are not assisting. And that's the part I said to the leadership of the police in our province. It's a conduct that must not be appreciated. It's a conduct that must not be tolerated. We can't invest in these resources. I mean, we've given them helicopters, we've given them drones, we've given them panic buttons, we've given them a sophisticated state-of-the-art command center so that we can utilize these resources to protect Gauteng. Sakina, it's a fact. If you can't win the war against crime in Gauteng, you can't win the war against crime in our country. So you can't, therefore, when you put all these resources, CCTVs, cameras, you are putting all these helicopters, and the police and law enforcement agencies is just business as usual. We need to flush out those people out of the law enforcement agencies. And I would love to say, a premier, I spoke to police X, Y, Z, and they didn't do these things. And the commissioner of the police must account on those things. We can't just let go and say it's part of life, it's way of life. As long as I've registered this thing with the insurance will pay. Or policemen that just take statements in the police station for sake of filling the forms. It can't be. Police must track in criminals. Police must ensure if goods were stolen, those particular goods must be retrieved. Police must ensure if somebody is murdered, that case must be investigated and use the latest technology to ensure that we investigate. We are investing in forensic. We are investing in motor vehicles for the police. I mean, our provincial government alone, Sakina, we've given 245 new motor vehicles to the SAPS because we value this aspect of ensuring that our province must be safe. Sakina, we can be the economic hub of the country. That title will go. If people can't invest here, if people can't bring their families here, if people feel not safe, every 7 o'clock in the evening, people are locking themselves in their own houses as if it's their own prison. When we need to pump the economy, it can't be. Where people are scared even of their own shadows. If there is one thing, Sakina, I must be honest, that if I have to say I failed, I will resign, is the fight against crime. I'm committed on that particular fight. And I'm prepared to put the resources that are needed there. And I need the leadership of all law enforcement agencies to follow me suit. If they're not ready, the door is open. They must leave.
So Lim Simang from the DA has experience as the executive mayor of Tshwane and is known for his leadership and governance skills. Msimang's track record in municipal leadership is strong, though his previous electoral defeat could be a concern for some voters.
We speak of, Gauteng being the economic hub, and the fact that it is crippled by crime as well as load shedding, and you propose measures that could assist. Tell us more about that.
Well, thank you very much. I think, first of all, we need to understand that you cannot fight crime in the Northern Cape as you fight in crime in Gauteng, as you would fight crime in Limpopo, as an example. There's unique circumstances that each and every province must take into consideration. And this is why we've been calling for the devolving of power from a national to a provincial level, so that we are able to then start saying, how do we then recruit, train, and deploy police at a provincial level? We need specialized units. We need a gang unit in Gauteng. We need a drug unit in Gauteng. We need a unit that will be able to deal with the Zamazamas, as an example. We need to also also make sure that you're able to then deal with the infrastructure that assist the police to then do what needs to be done. There are police stations right now where if you call, you cannot even get an answer from particular police stations because they're not connected. So that talks to a problem. You have police stations that don't have holding cells. So if people are arrested in the vicinity of that police station, now you need to then take people out. That is something that needs to be addressed. But we are also saying that, if you're not going to address the issue of infrastructure in your province, nobody will then come and invest in your province. So we have been saying we need to have a provincial master plan that talks to how we deal with the issues of water, electricity, sewers, roads, and also the maintenance of some of the infrastructure that we have, schools, clinics, hospitals. How do we then deal with those? And these are things that, going around and having gone through every region in this province, have seen firsthand how dilapidated some of the infrastructure is and how we now need to then deal with that. But you cannot deal with those if you don't have a master plan that tells you where you are and what you now need to then fix. These are some of the things.
A valid point that you're making, because in the absence of services, you find that businesses suffer and find better places and leave areas, and this then translates to unemployment and a growing number of people who then join the unemployment lines. But speaking of unemployment, you also mentioned that you would like to find measures to assist with unemployment in the province, and saying that, if Gauteng is actually not free until they are freed from the shackles of unemployment.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we're talking about is part of you putting money as government, into infrastructure and into, the men and women that are supposed to help you with safety and security, with health as an example. You will not be able to then get employment going. Investors want to see you putting money where it will be easier for them, to come in and put money in there, and also seeing their investment protected. So investors are saying, if you cannot guarantee that we'll have electricity, if you cannot guarantee that we'll have uninterrupted supply of water, but more importantly, that our trucks, whatever we're producing, if it cannot be secured in terms of you having visible policing, we will not be able to then come and invest in there. So this is some of the things that we are saying we want to then bring back. But also investors are asking for accountability from government. If you cannot be an accountable government, investors are saying, but how do we then trust you with billions of our rands that we want to then bring into the economy? So this is why we are saying, so you add on the issue of infrastructure, you add on the issue of safety and security, but you also add on a capable government in place that is going to be accountable. And then you're able to then attract investment. By the way, you cannot have a situation where government thinks that it will be the sole employer. The only way that you can really get the economy is to providing suitable, environment for investors to come in and invest, and that's how you're going to get employment going.
Mbuyisen Ndlozi from the EFF brings youthful energy and a commitment to economic freedom and development. Ndlozi's fresh perspective are appealing, but his party's radical policies and involvement in parliamentary disruption may be seen as divisive.
Yeah, and are you ready to get back into the ring? What are we going to call you? We call you a super mayor of the global city region. Do you become what do you become?
Well, the vision of the EFF, as you know, government expenditure nationally of the 2 trillion rands that gets to be allocated in the division of revenue, only 9% comes to local government, directly, as well as your grants, conditional grants. But we believe that you've got to really do away with the provincial sphere of government. In the case of Gauteng, the model must become a megapolis, a global city region where you try to marshal the fiscal muscle of the entire province, which in the current financial capabilities will be in excess of 380 billion rands. And in the medium short term, you're talking about over 1 trillion to 1.1 trillion rands. That gives you enough muscle to bargain in the world for mega infrastructure projects. And as we know, the infrastructure of Gauteng does not give it an international edge as a global city. Water infrastructure, transport, roads and transport, electricity or energy, you've got an opportunity through marshalling the fiscal resources at the center to really move at a fast pace in the way that East Asian economies have managed to build their infrastructures. Not just that, but also we've seen with Arab countries as well. So that you've got a proper capacity for business to take place, for a lot of productive activity to take place, cultural activity as well, of international scale. Well, of course, these are national and provincial government elections. It's precisely the time to canvass the idea it is good for economic freedom. The problems that we have at the moment require economic solutions because our country has stagnated. In some instances, it is experiencing, at least for the last over 3 decades, deindustrialization. Unemployment has been chronic. We've had high levels of unemployment since the late 1980s. So you need solutions that are going to unblock the productive capability of South Africa, lead to more participation in production. In many cases, we are still in the second industrial revolution. We still need to build power stations. We still need to build a lot of road infrastructure. We still need to build trains and so on and so forth. So, but those will not be fundamental constitutional changes because you still believe in the separation of powers. You still believe in one woman, one man, one vote. It's not really in that aspect of the constitutional amendments. It's about administration. And if the administration of Gauteng leads us to faster economic development, economic growth, and the resolution of inequalities, we certainly feel very strong that that's precisely the route we should take. You know, during apartheid, there were only 4 provinces, and majority of industrial and administrative capability and investment happened at the local state. Yeah. That is the coal face of service delivery. And delivering services itself has a lot of economic potential. There's so many jobs that are immediately possible if you build internal state capacity, do away with the tenders. Don't give people EPWPs, give them permanent jobs, secure jobs, so that they build and maintain roads, so that the security guards, the cleaners have proper contracts. And that means buying power in the hands of majority of the citizens. Once they've got buying power, anybody that wants to do business will come here because the people here have buying power. But the current arrangement keeps money in the hands of few people, majority of which is spent in Europe through the European cars and through expensive products that, so money is in the bag, it goes to Europe or it goes to China and so on and so forth. You've got to circulate majority of the currency in the local economy, at least more.
Choosing the best candidate for Gauteng involves considering their experience, policies, and ability to navigate the province's unique challenges. These are some of the wishes of Gauteng residents for whoever will be leading the province, aimed at benefiting the majority. Addressing these wishes is crucial for ensuring economic stability, social development, and improved quality of life for all citizens. A capable leader must prioritize these needs to drive meaningful progress and foster a prosperous future for Gauteng.
I'm very happy as long as the ANC is not running the Gauteng government by itself.
Into ebalulekileyo ukuthi xa kuzaphinde kuphathwe ngoku after lama vote makwenziwe mayithi xa iphuma imali maziphume imali zokuba zisize umphakathi zokuba zilungise imisebenzi kwenziwe follow ups.
As a confident voter, as I feel about the coalition that is going to be formed after the elections, I feel that it's going to be something good, especially in a time where we live now, where the residents of Gauteng, most of us, we are struggling. So I think to have a coalition with other parties, it will make the party that's going to be in power, I think it will make it a bit stronger. And then we can find out after that, we will see what happens after that. But with coalitions, we feel that it's going to be something good.
I feel like it's a very good thing. Yeah, because you know when you own a business without no challenges, that's when you relax. You think you are your own. But then when you know what you have a competition, that's when you pick up your socks. Yeah, because of what things happen. We don't have no. Let's say not me. Yeah, our youth. We don't know it. But then we vote. Now, cause we know good. Okay, these people they don't do what we want. We can have plenty.
Baba, with this election results overall from national to provinces, what does it tell you comparing to other previous general elections?
It says our democracy is maturing. the South Africans are starting to wake up. The South Africans are starting to understand the politics of this country. That as much as we are a divided nation, again, we are a united nation. Because if you look at all the other manifestos, they're all preaching the same thing, service delivery. Everybody's saying the same thing, but they're trying to say it differently. You know, there's only one or two parties that are extremely on the left, but most of the parties are preaching exactly the same thing. You know, what we want in this country, it's peace. It's jobs for our children. It's a constant running electricity, constant running water out of our taps. That's all we're asking for. Look, I live here in Davidton in a place called Extension 2. It was one of the best places in this township and in South Africa, as Davidton is known to have been one of the cleanest townships in the country. But today, it has become a slum. If the local government can then provide dumping areas for our people, because we don't have any dumping areas like they do in the suburban areas, whereby if people have rubble in their homes, they have a place to go and dump. So people just dump all over the place. People's properties have been downgraded via all the rubbish that is dumped next to your houses. I paid a lot of money for my house. It's a bond house. And now, price-wise, it has deteriorated because of the surrounding areas that are not attractive to a person who wants to spend anything in the region of $1 million. So we're having those challenges in our townships. But overall, jobs, jobs, jobs. That's what we are all about.
Lesotho's governance experience, Nsimang's leadership skills, and Ndlozi's youthful energy each offers different strengths. The right leader for Gauteng will need to balance these qualities with a vision for the province's future. Gauteng stands at a political crossroads, and its future leadership will play a crucial role in shaping its path forward. What do you think should be the next premier of Gauteng? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Inkarhi Its Time for more insights into South Africa's dynamic regions and political landscapes. Thanks for watching. See you next time on Inkarhi Its Time. Take care.